Hi, my name is Dean Bucalis. I'm the Executive Director of Mission Behind Bars and Beyond, which is a faith-based nonprofit that works with people who have been incarcerated and are coming back into the community and trying to find ways to help make their reentry a successful journey for them. We have developed a number of videos that we want to share with you to help you in that process of reentry. Our first video is going to be about employment, how to get employment, how to keep employment. We know that employment is one of the most important areas of a successful reentry. So we're going to be talking with Mark Johnson, who's our board chair, but who has many, many years of experience in working with folks who have been behind the bars and beyond the bars. So I'm going to ask him some questions, ask him to share a little bit about employment issues, and hopefully this will be helpful to you as you continue to make your way into the community on a successful reentry journey. So Mark, we know that employment is one of the key issues that result in a successful reentry for people who are coming back out of prison. If you could name just a couple of things that are most important, first about finding a job. Where do people go to find employment? What are some of the resources that you have discovered that are helpful and available?
Well, let me give a few tips here, just a few tips for people that are just coming right out of prison or jail or whatever. Some of the things that I want to tell you are that you should treat job hunting as kind of like your job. You want to make it a full-time effort, and you want to put all your time and your work into it, and you want to be methodical about it. So some of the things that I would recommend are for people that are getting ready to go out for job interviews and so forth, to create cheat sheets. And cheat sheets include things like the list of your references, all their contact information such as addresses, telephone numbers, and create a list of all the prior employment that you've had over the years, such as even including some of the prison employment that you had, with the name of your supervisor and your job duties and the dates that you performed those jobs and things like that.
Yeah, I've heard it said that one of the most important parts of finding a job, if you don't have a job, is making your job getting a job. And I think that's what you talked about, Mark. Yeah. What are some of the ways of accessing some of that information? I know that there are a number of agencies out there that help people find jobs. What are some of those that you would recommend?
Well, some of the agencies that we partner with, and we use their resources quite a bit, are places like Louisville Urban League and the Lexington Urban League. We use places like Kentuckiana Works, and we also use places like Goodwill. Goodwill has a lot of good employment programs. And then if you're out in the state and you're not in Lexington, Louisville, or Northern Kentucky area, we encourage people to use things like the Kentucky Career Centers, which are all over the state, and they have a lot of good places. They will actually work with you, take your name down, and send you information about jobs that are becoming available.
And one of the things that we're hoping to provide for you on our website are some resources that you can go to, so you can find these employment agencies, employment assistant programs that will help you, and you'll be able to access them very quickly from our website. So finding a job is the first step. Keeping a job is the second step. Yeah. So what recommendation would you make to folks about what they need to do to keep a job? We hear about developing soft skills, those things that are intangible, those things that are not just what the job is about, but how you engage the job. So what advice do you have for people with respect to trying to keep a job?
Well, you know, soft skills are very important, and a lot of people don't think about those. But those are things that will make you more employable. They will help you once you get employed. Things like showing up on time, keeping a good attitude while you're at work, being part of a team, being able to work as part of a team, and dressing appropriately for the job and the job interview that you're going for. So say, for instance, if you're going for a job in an industrial setting, well, you don't want to come for the job interview in a three-piece suit. So just use a little common sense and so forth. And as you said, you'll be able to go to our website and find some resources and information, and we'll have information about that.
As somebody that has been an employer in the past, one of the things that I always try to stress for our employees is to keep your home life at home. Most employers are most interested in having employees who are focused, who get along with the folks that they're working with, who are willing to volunteer when opportunities arise. All of those things make for a good employee, and they will make for someone who can sustain their employment and keep that job that was so hard to find in the first place. The last thing I want to talk about, Mark, is your advice with respect to people who've coming out of prison and have that conviction on their record. So we know all about the box that's on employment applications. What's your advice with respect to the best way to address that when you're coming out of prison and you're looking for a job?
Well, one of the things that I tell people when I go into the prisons, and I go into the prisons quite a bit and work with people on employment skills and pre-employment skills. And one of the things I tell them is to practice what I call your incarceration speech, which is to explain how, that you were away from the job market for a while, but that while you were incarcerated, you did all these positive things. You took the programs, you participated in recovery groups if you had those kind of issues, you took counseling groups, you worked constantly while you were incarcerated, you received good job evaluations and so forth. And I always encourage people to have a list of the employment that they had while they were incarcerated and show the employer that, they maintained good employment while they were incarcerated. That's very valuable. But you always want to put a positive spin on it. So we know that being incarcerated for any length of time is a very negative thing. But you can put a positive spin on that and make it look much better than what it actually was, and so forth. So that's very important. Be positive about it.
And what I hear you saying is not to stay away from that fact that you have been incarcerated, to be honest about it, to talk about it openly, but to be prepared to talk about it openly. And also to write on that job application where it says, have you been convicted of a felony, that you'd like to talk about it further, to explain what that means and what your background was. And the other part of that is to be aware of those second chance employers. There's a lot of folks who will employ people who have felony convictions in their background, and so when you go on your job search, it's important to search those folks out to make sure that the folks that you're interviewing with are those that would be sympathetic and eventually will hire you. And the last thing that we want to stress is not to be discouraged. There are a lot of ways in which you can become employed, but it's not just an easy practice. It takes some time, it takes some persistence, and we want you to be encouraged with your job search, and throughout all of that, continue to check our website, because we'll continue to have resources that are available for you. Thanks, Mark, and good luck with you on your job search.